Dante and Jason share a daughter. Britt's shocking reveal stuns Port Charles. General Hospital spoilers. The summer heat had settled over Port Charles like a heavy blanket, but it was nothing compared to the storm that was about to hit the town. Britt Westbourne, long thought gone forever, returned with a little girl in her arms and a secret that would rock multiple families to the core. At General Hospital, the lobby buzzed with typical urgency. Nurses rushed between patients, doctors barked orders, and the tension never quite lifted. But today, Elizabeth Weber froze mid-step when the elevator doors opened, and out stepped Britt Westbourne, alive, calm, and holding the hand of a curly-haired 6-year-old girl with bright blue eyes. "Britt." Elizabeth's voice trembled. "You're supposed to be dead." Britt gave a tight smile.
"Funny thing about that.
"I had a little help staying underground." The child squeezed Britt's hand. "Mommy, who's that?" Elizabeth's eyes widened. "Mommy." Britt knelt beside the girl. "Sweetheart, this is Elizabeth. She's a nurse here. We're going to be staying in Port Charles for a while." "Wait, Britt. Who is she?" Britt met her eyes. "Her name is Bella, and she's Rocco's sister." Dante Falconeri had just finished coaching Leo's baseball game when his phone buzzed with a text from Elizabeth.
"Meet me at GH. Now."
It's about Britt and Rocco. Still sweaty and sunburned, Dante drove with urgency through the tree-lined streets, unease clenching his gut. When he arrived at the hospital, he didn't expect to see Britt Westbourne sitting calmly in the GH lounge, sipping water, her daughter coloring beside her. "Britt," he croaked, blinking as if she were a ghost. "How what?" "Good to see you too," she said coolly. "Sit down. You're going to want to be seated for this." Dante stared at the child. "Who is she?" "I named her Bella," Britt said. "She's 6. Her birthday's in January. And she's your daughter." Dante stumbled back into a chair like the wind had been knocked out of him.
"What? No."
"That's not possible. What? We never." "It was a mistake," Britt said, eyes distant. "We slept together once. Right before I left. I didn't know I was pregnant until I was already gone. You disappeared, Britt. Everyone thought you were dead. And you're telling me I have a 6-year-old daughter?" "She's not just yours," Britt whispered. "She's also Jason's." Jason Morgan stood behind the counter at the garage, half listening to Spinelli ramble about encryption when Dante stormed in. "We need to talk.
Now."
Jason, ever calm, looked up. "What's going on?" "It's about Britt. And a little girl." Jason's heart thudded. "What little girl?" "She says her name is Bella. Britt claims she's both of ours." The silence that followed was suffocating. Jason clenched his jaw. "That's impossible." Dante slammed a hand on the counter. "Apparently not. Britt told me she used in vitro, Jason. She had my sperm. And yours. Some crazy experimental fertilization. And it worked." Jason stared at him, eyes narrowing. "And you believe her?" "She has a 6-year-old girl with your eyes and my temper. You do the math." Carly Corinthos had always been fiercely protective of Jason, and when she heard the news from Spinelli, she nearly dropped her glass of wine. "She what?" Spinelli nodded, rambling quickly. "Apparently it's true. The science checks out. I found the archived files. There was an unapproved fertility project Britt was involved in. She used both Jason and Dante's DNA. The embryo was implanted overseas. Jason never knew. Neither did Dante." Carly gritted her teeth. "And now she just shows up with this child and expects what? A family reunion." "She says she wants peace," Spinelli mumbled.
Carly stood, seething.
"That woman doesn't know the meaning of peace. If she's lying, she won't walk out of Port Charles on 2 feet." Bella's eyes fluttered open in the hospital guest suite, her small hand reaching toward the soft glow of the nightlight. Britt was asleep on the couch, but Bella slipped away and wandered the halls of General Hospital like a ghost. That's when she found Rocco, also roaming after a nightmare. The two locked eyes, unsure, curious. "I'm Bella," she whispered. "I'm Rocco." "My mom says you're my brother." Rocco blinked. "That's crazy." "Maybe," Bella said. "Do you like baseball?" He nodded. "Want to play tomorrow?" And just like that, a bond began forming, long before the adults could destroy it with their bitterness. Curtis Ashford stood in the GH lab, holding the DNA results with trembling hands. Jordan had pushed for transparency, and now the truth was printed in black and white. He called Dante, Jason, and Britt to the conference room. Curtis handed them the results. "She's biologically yours. Both of yours. It's a dual-father embryo. Experimental, yes, but viable. Bella is a miracle." Jason leaned against the wall, dazed. "She's mine." Dante muttered. "Mine too." Britt's voice cracked. "I was scared. I didn't know who would want her. I didn't know who I was. But she deserves to know." Jason asked the question they were all avoiding. "Now what?" Sonny Corinthos summoned Britt to the Metro court. She walked into the private dining room and found him alone, swirling bourbon. "I know you've been through hell," Sonny said. "But I need to know your intentions." Britt lifted her chin. "I didn't come back to cause trouble. You brought a child who is linked to two of the most stubborn, volatile men I know. That's trouble. She's not a pawn." Sonny leaned in. "Make sure she never becomes one. Or, I promise you, hell won't be far behind." Lulu's mother, Laura, flew in from France when she heard the news. She stood in the chapel of GH, staring at the girl who looked like Dante and had Jason's piercing eyes. "She's family," Laura whispered. Sam McCall, meanwhile, was far more guarded. She watched Jason interact with Bella through the glass, her heart splitting in two. "She's beautiful," Sam admitted. "She's not replacing Danny or Scout," Jason said gently. "I know," Sam replied. "But everything's different now. You're different." In the shadows, Maxie Jones watched Britt and whispered to Spinelli. "She's not here just for the kid. She still loves Jason. I can see it." Word spread quickly. The town was buzzing. Jason and Dante? Same kid.
Some called it destiny.
Others called it madness. But what no one could deny was the effect Bella had on both men. Dante was softer, attentive. He brought Bella home to meet Olivia, and the usually loud Quartermain house fell quiet watching the two bond. Jason, in turn, took Bella for rides on his motorcycle, her laughter echoing like bells on Harborview Road. And still, Britt watched, always nervous, always guilty. Because she had one more secret. She gathered Jason and Dante at Pier 52 at dusk. The sun dipped behind the skyline, turning the water gold. "I need to tell you the rest," Britt said. Jason's eyes narrowed. "There's more?" "She's sick," Britt whispered. "Bella has the same degenerative genetic marker that I do. She's stable now. But she'll need long-term care, possibly a donor down the line." Dante's voice cracked. "Why didn't you tell us sooner?" "I was scared. I thought I could handle it alone. But I was wrong." Jason looked at the water. "We're here now." Dante nodded. "We'll fight it. Together." For the first time, the three stood united, not for themselves, but for the little girl who carried all their futures in her smile. At the hospital rooftop, Bella stood between her two fathers during the Port Charles summer fair. "I want to go home," she said simply. Dante bent down. "Which home, baby?" She looked at him, then Jason. "All of them. I want 2 houses. And 2 birthdays." Jason chuckled. "That can be arranged." Britt joined them with a soft smile. "What about one more wish?" Bella beamed. "A puppy." As the family laughed, Britt slipped her hand into Jason's, the past melting into something new. Port Charles wasn't perfect. But sometimes, even here, miracles could bloom from secrets, and families could be forged from love, loss, and a child named Bella.